people assume that if you just replace the files you want to swap and their names, that it will work just fine. And well, let's just say sometimes you don't really get the result you would expect. If it worked, the video wouldn't be this long. One thing to mention before we start is you may see some stuff that are different because I am using Linux and you may be using Windows or something else. I'm using Linux Mint, so if you see something different, it should be fine though still on Windows because it looks very similar. So now to begin, we can open a browser and search up GitHub to get the tool that we need. github.com/Marcus Tunimus and /SLD Extractor to find the tool that we need. Now, it's created originally by Y4, all credit goes to him, and some parts were modified by me. And here's the link to the original project if you want to visit it and get it yourself. So, to download this tool, we can go to code and make sure you have HTTPS over here and download the zip file. And here you just click save. Next up, we can extract the zip file to get the tool. Okay. And when you open now the folder, we don't need anything else. So, this is exactly the program that we need to open the files. Now, you can open this with any browser. Make sure, though, you have JavaScript enabled. So, you open Brave, okay? Or the browser of your choice. And here's how it will look. Okay, so the only things that we'll need from this tool are to look at are the frames and the down SLD button. So, now, this program is called SLD Extractor. So we need those SLD files. Those are the graphic files that Age of Empires uses for the graphics of the units and everything else. So now you go to your game folder. And since I have the game on Steam, I will open the Steam folder. And we go to the Age of Empires folder. Now, here, some people are wondering where do you find these files, okay? So, the path to the files that we need, the graphic files, are in Resources, then underline Common. Then we go to DRS and Graphics. And here are all the SLD files of the game. Next up, they all load. So, there are so many files here. Now, let's say right in this tutorial, I'll make the Heavy Cavalry Archer. And let's say one building, and this building will be the Dark Age Mill, okay? So, how we can find this is Control F, to search the files. You can also do this on Windows, I believe. And Cavalry Archer, now, the files are named a bit cryptically in a way, like, it's not as you can see, it's like horse, gray, black hair, DK, whatnot. And if you want to find, for example, the Heavy Cavalry Archer, you can search for only a few keywords. So, for example, either Archer, and if we search it up, there are, though, quite a lot. So, even buildings appear, everything else. Now, to find the Cavalry Archer, okay, here they are. You see, Cavalry Archer Heavy Attack. So, I would recommend to get those files in a different folder, just like I'm doing. So let's just say Cavalry Archer, Heavy Cavalry Archer. Original. I'll name them original because I'll switch them over with, I think, the Chronicles Archers. The new DLC that came out of Age of Empires. Now, I'll open the folder and I'll copy over all of the files that are over here. Cavalry Archer Heavy. Okay. So here are all the Heavy Cavalry Archers files. So you can copy them over and paste them. Now, as you can see, there are X1 and X2 graphics. The X1 graphics are for the normal graphics of the game, but there are enhanced graphics. as a DLC to the game. If you use them, if you use those enhanced graphics, you can use the X2 files, and X1 are for the normal ones. Personally, I use the enhanced graphics, so I'm gonna use the X2 files, but it should work the same way as for the X1 ones. I'm gonna delete the X1 graphics, and here it is. Okay. Now, we have now the graphics separated for the original one. Now we need to find for the other one, which is the Heavy Cavalry Archer. For the Heavy Cavalry Archer Chronicles version, okay? So we have the Chronicles one. Now, to search them up, I believe that we can still write Heavy. Wait. Cav Archer. Archer Heavy. Okay. Actually, maybe I can find them over here like this. Let's see. Elite Archer. Here they are. UCav Ant. I don't know what Ant stands for, but those are the Heavy Cavalry Archers from the Chronicles DLC. If we open the program that we just downloaded, actually I'm gonna pull it to the desktop. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna pull it to the desktop and I'll open it up. Here, so, if you want to preview what each graphic is, for example, you're searching for it and you're not sure which graphic it is, you can grab one of those, pull them, drag and drop them into the screen, and you can see. So this one is for exactly the Chronicles. Wait, I grabbed an X1 version. X2 one. Here they're higher graphics, so you can see it better. So this is the Cavalry Archer, the Heavy Cavalry Archer from the Chronicles DLC. So now that we're sure, we can copy over all of those files. So we select the X2 ones because I'm using X2. Okay, we copy them. We copy them over to the Heavy Cavalry Archer Chronicles folder that we just created on the desktop. Here, now we have both of the graphics over here. Look. We have the Chronicles Heavy Cavalry Archer and the original Cavalry Archer that we're gonna replace. Now, I also mentioned we're gonna replace the mill, the Dark Age mill. Now, create a Dark Age mill original. Now, what I'll replace the Dark Age, the original Dark Age mill with, will be the Roman Stone Age granary. Now, to find these, you actually will not be able to find them in the same folder because they're from the Return of Rome DLC. The Return of Rome DLC can be found when you go back to the game folder, the original location of the game folder. You can go to Modes, Pompeii, Resources, underline Common, and we go to DRS and Graphics. Now, here are all of the unit graphics from Return of Rome DLC. So, we can search up again, Granary, and we can find, so there's Asian, there's Bab, I think, Barbarian, I'm not sure, Egypt. And here's the Roman ones. Now, I want the Age 1 graphic. So, I can copy this, wait, I'm gonna extend this, so this is the X1. We will grab the X2 files. Again, I'm using the enhanced graphics pack. Now, to create a new folder, I'll put it as Roman Stone Age Granary. Okay, and we paste the files. I did copy, Control-C shortcut for copy. Now, we have those files. We don't need anything else. Now the Dark Age mill, the original files, we need to search them up. So we go back. I forgot to get them while I was in the place. So still, go to Resources, underline Common, DRS, and Graphics. And here I'll search for mill. Now, if you're wondering which mill you actually need, you can open the game, see how your buildings are looking inside of the game. Now, the Dark Age mill should not actually have any other type of building based on the civilization that you pick, because Dark Age mill is equal for every single civilization, so it should be named as dark, I believe, in the beginning. So I'll put dark in the beginning to find it easier. Dark. And here, dark barracks, dark dock. And here you can find, there we go, the Dark Age mill. So grab all the graphics that are related to the Dark Age mill, copy them, and paste them into the folder. Now, next up, for the units, when you go into the game, and you can see the technology tree, and when you select the unit, the icon appears of the unit. If you want to also switch this graphic, which I'll do as well with you, you can go to find this this graphic. You will go to Widget UI, Textures, In-Game, and then Units. And here will be all of them. Now, for Windows users, I think you will be able to open this file as normal. But since I'm on Linux and I don't have a proper viewing, graphic viewing program, and I cannot open DDS format, I can, if you also cannot, you can go to the browser. Okay, go to the browser, and you can open Photopea. Photopea.com. Okay, here. Now, okay, so for the privacy choices, reject all. Now, we can open and preview some of them by drag and dropping. So you see, this is the graphic that is for, I actually don't even know what this unit is. You know, the tedious part about this is now you have to go through all of the graphics and find the two ones that we need. So the Heavy Cavalry Archer and also the Heavy Cavalry Archer from the Chronicles one. This is a very tedious process, and you need to go through all of the files and basically find it. Sadly, there's no cheat sheet or something saying which one is which, or at least I'm not aware of any, so I'll go through any of them. I already know actually the numbers because I searched them up previously, and the Heavy Cavalry Archer, the original Heavy Cavalry Archer icon is 019. I apologize for the mistake. So the original Heavy Cavalry Archer is actually 071. And go to the game folder once again. Steam library. Okay. Now go back to the units, unit icons. So they're in Widget UI, Textures, once again, in-game, and then Units. Now, 019 is for the Heavy Cavalry Archer. So when you go to 019, here it is, the Heavy Cavalry Archer. Here, 019, and then the Heavy Cavalry Archer. This is the icon for it. Now, what you do is you copy this one. You copy the graphic. And you go to the Heavy Cavalry Archer original and you paste it over here in the folder. So we're preparing now all the files that we need to create this mod. Okay. Here, 019, and for the Chronicles Heavy Cavalry Archer, it is 620. So, 620, if you go and search it up, you know, the really big issue is here there are so many, and you need to go through each one. It will be much easier if you also have thumbnails on the images so you can preview them easily. So 620. We go here. So 620, if we drag and drop, here it is, 620. Now, I actually drag and dropped it into the image. You can drag and drop it over here to appear as a new tab. So 620 is the Heavy Cavalry Archer icon from the Chronicles DLC. So I will copy this one. Copy. Now go to the folder of your mod. Over here, actually. No, I haven't opened it. Okay, Heavy Cavalry Archer Chronicles one. And paste it over here. So this is the icon for the Heavy Cavalry Archer Chronicles. And this one is for the original one. And we can replace them now. Now we have everything we need to switch the original Heavy Cavalry Archer with the Chronicles version. Now though, we need to create the mod structure. On the desktop, actually I closed the tab. Either way, I'll do it with you. So now you just create your mod structure. I'll make two separate mods, one for the Heavy Cavalry Archer and one for the Dark Age Mill reskins. So first it will be the Heavy Cavalry Archer reskin. Okay, let's put it over here and create a new folder for the Dark Age Mill reskin. Now, when you open the folder, you may be wondering, okay, how do I create mod, right? A mod structure. Now, I'll explain basic for exactly the graphics one. So, you see how in the game file, when you go into the game directory, I'll go once again. Come on, Age of Empires D. Okay. Now, the game needs to know what graphic it actually needs to replace. So, you can recreate the path to the files that you want to replace with the mod. So, here we went into resources. So, you can create the same folder, resources. Resources, you double click it, you open it. Now, underline common. You create the same folder called underline common. Double click it, open it. Now, the graphics files are in DRS, so you create another folder, DRS. The same one. And then into graphics. Okay, you open DRS, and inside DRS, you create a folder, graphics. Okay, now, you open it, and here actually will be where we place the graphic files to replace them. Now when you go back to the original folder, we also wanted to switch the icon of the unit. So it was located into widget UI, so create one folder. Again, widget UI. They need to be exactly the same names. Okay? Then inside of it, we create the textures. Textures folder. Then we go into the in-game one, and we create a folder in-game. Okay. In-game. And then into units. So we create a new folder called units. And inside of units, we'll be placing the different icon files. Now, the very easiest part of this tutorial will be to switch the graphics of the icons inside of the tech tree and also when you select the unit. It's the easiest, and it's basically to switch the name. So, when you go into the Heavy Cavalry Archer, you see that it's 019 underline 50730. Okay? And if you want to switch out the graphic with the Chronicles version 1, it's 620 underline 50730. It's the same. So, basically the easiest thing is you copy the Heavy Cavalry Archer Chronicles icon, you copy it, you paste it into this folder, into the widget UI textures in-game units of the mod one that we just created. We pasted 620. So we need to rename it to be the same name as the Heavy Cavalry Archer original one. And it's 019, so we rename this. Rename this and we switch 620 with 019. And we paste it. Now, when you open the game, it will already know to switch the graphic of the Heavy Cavalry Archer with this image that we just put in. So we go back. Already we have the icon set. And the last thing we need to do is create an info.json file that will tell the game basically the information about the mod. So you create a new file, for example txt file, and then you can change it. So you write info.json. Okay, and you open it with either Notepad, anything will work. Now, I will paste in the description something that you need to copy and paste for your convenience. So you go into the description and you copy and paste the text there that I've input. So here you have an author, you have title, and you have a description of the mod. So in author, you basically put your name. I'll put Marcus Tunimus. The title will be Heavy Cavalry Archer Reskin. Okay. And then in the description, this mod replaces the Heavy Cavalry Archer with the Chronicles version of the Heavy Cavalry Archer. So here it is. You save the file with Control S, then you can close it safely. Now, we go back into the folder. Now, the next step will be to edit the graphic files that we got out here. So, we can now open the program, SLD Extractor. Okay, let me just close up real quick all these different folders that we don't need. Now, you double click it and you open it with the browser, okay? Actually, I'll close these. We don't need them anymore. Now, we have the program. So, you go back, you go ahead now and open the Heavy Cavalry Archer original folder. You can open them both so you know which ones to switch instantly. We can already delete these since we're done and we already replaced them. Okay. Now, here is the Heavy Cavalry Archer original and here is the Chronicles version of it. So we have here an attacking animation. Basically, the graphic files are the different actions that the units do. For example, here is the attack animation, there is death animation, there is decay animation, idle animation, another idle animation, variation, and then walking animation. And it actually is the same for the Heavy Cavalry Archer, the Chronicles version. Okay, so if we want to switch them both, here we can preview them in the program. So let's look at the Heavy Cavalry Archer original, the attacking animation. So when you drag and drop it into the program, we can already see here's the attacking animation. Here he attacks, you know, same attack. Now, as you can see, it's every single direction that the unit can possibly be in. So technically, in Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, the unit has 16 directions that it can possibly look towards. That means that every, from 961 frames, that means that in every single direction, there are 60 frames that he is looking towards. So if we go up here, to the 60th frame, you can already see that he slightly starts shifting to the side. That means that in one direction, there are 60 frames. Now, when you open the Chronicles version 1, there are two actually attacking animations, and I think they're just two variations of it. Now, when you drag and drop it, we can preview it. And here it actually has 721 frames. So that means that each direction now we can see where... Okay, over here, at 45 frames and 46 frames, it switches direction. So what that means is that this animation has less frames than the original one. And if we were simply to replace the two files, the animation would still continue over these 46, 47, 48 until 60 frames. Which of course makes no sense if you want the animation to be good. So we need to basically duplicate in each direction 15 of the frames in order to reach the 60 to the original unit. Oh my god, I just noticed that the frames are getting hidden by my helmet. Oh no. Anyways, I'll try and pay attention to it. So you can see that here there are 720 frames, okay? Oh wait, you can't even see the button. Oh no. Hold on. Okay, so you can see here is the down SLD button, right? So we need to have these frames match up the original one, which was 960 frames if you remember. So we need to duplicate enough frames from 721 to be equal to 961. So how do you get 45 frames to 60 frames? You need 15 frames to duplicate. So you actually need 15 frames from the middle frames of these to be duplicated in order to reach the 60 frames. Now, why am I not duplicating either first frames or last frames? It's because in the end, the animation will maybe not loop correctly. So to do this, you click F12 in your browser, which will open this window, the debugging window. Or you can open it by selecting the drop-down menu, going to More Tools, and then going to Web Developer Tools. This will open this tab. And you go into the console tab if any other tab opens, right? So this will help you make enough columns in order to select them much easier. So the possible frames that you can have, or that you'll be able to see, are 480, 481, 720 and 721, and 960 and 961. Now, how many columns you need in each one in order to duplicate easier or select easier? I'll just tell you straight up the number. So 480, you need 2 columns. In 720 and 721, you need 3 columns. And in 960 and 961, you need 4 columns. So here we have 721, so we put it to be into 3 columns. And we select basically the middle one. Now, you will want in every single graphic or any single thing that you do, always to go for the middle one. And if there is no middle one, like for example in 480 frames, you always go for the last one that you need to select. Okay? So we need to bring 721 frames to 961. What that means is we need 1/3 extra of frames. So we basically select 1 column. This will be the second column. Now, or the middle column in this case. Now, you start selecting from top to bottom every single frame until the very, very bottom to duplicate. You left click it and you start selecting all the way down. Now this takes some time. I'm gonna speed it up so it's not as painful for you as for me. I'll have to go through it, and you have to go through it if you decide to follow this. Now when you have them all selected, you can go to the button over here at the top that says duplicate frames, and you click it. Okay, and now we wait since it's processing. Now you will see that the number has changed, and we see at the side here, we can go all the way down and see if we have exactly the frame numbers of the original one. The original one had 961, and here we see that we have now 961. So that means that we're ready, and we click this button over here that I always keep hiding with my helmet. Here, we click it down SLD. Now, when you click it, you'll see at the side over here that we see all the frames changing, right? All these frames are basically on what frame it is currently. Now, this takes quite a while. I will again speed the process up because this is painful, okay? This is the only thing where you actually need to wait so long. Since now it's processing and creating the file once again from scratch. And you basically just wait. I'll write down how long it takes for every single one of them, so you have kind of an idea how long it should take for you. And if you hide this, there will be no indication that it's doing something, but don't worry about it really, because it will say here that, for example, the page has freezed up and it's not responding, but don't worry, it's making the file, as you can see over here. You see right now it's on 400th frame, and we're waiting until it reaches 961 frame. And after that, it's gonna pop up that we need to download. Now, speed up. Now, I came back just in time. So, here, now that it's ready, it will pop up to ask you where to download it, or it will automatically download it where you've set it as. So, here, I just don't change the name right now, and it will put it in downloads. Save it. Okay, now it's done. Now everything is fine. So you go to the downloads folder where you downloaded it, and here we have the new file. Now we cut it. You click cut. You go back now into the well, I don't have it open, so you go back. You go into the Heavy Cavalry Archer original folder, okay? and you paste it over here. Now it will actually, oh, I have it open anyways. I'll close it up real quick. Now, over here, we have the new file, the new graphic file, and we still have the old one. So we'll do the same thing that we did with the image. We'll just replace the name of the file so it knows that it should switch out the graphic with this one, with this current one that we created. That means that we grab the name, you click rename, and then you copy the name of the original file. And I'll basically now delete this file. We won't need it anymore. Okay, you delete it, then you rename this file, and you paste. Here it is. Now, when you press enter, now we're sure that this file is ready. Now, if you want to, you can make another folder called done, so you don't mistake it, and you don't redo one thing twice. You will just move this one into this folder. So that means that this graphic file is done. Next one is the death animation, okay? Now, for the death animation, let's go back to the program. We open the folder, the original one, here it is. Now, we grab, drag and drop the death animation into this window. Okay, so here it is. It also has 961 frames, right? So it means 60 frames in each one. Now, again, we do the same thing. We do the same thing, we go back. This is the original one. Now let's see how many frames the Chronicles one has. So there are tag A and B. Now, I forgot to mention, when there are two ones, A and B, you just pick whichever one you like and you switch it out with that one. If it's the opposite way, you basically see, again, which one you like, and if there's only one, for example, you can grab this one specifically and then just duplicate it and switch out the original two files. So basically, just switch the other way around. Now, we have the death animation. Actually, now, once we're done, we can also just delete these ones. Or remove. Let's just make it like this. Let's call remove. And we cut these and move these into this folder. Okay, perfect. Now we have the death animation. So this original one, the death animation has 961 frames. We go to the death, okay, drag and drop it. And let's see how many it has. Oh, this is the perfect case scenario. It also has 961 frames. Basically, it's done. We don't need to do anything. It's completely ready. So what you do is you copy this one, copy, straight up, paste it over here, right? Then you grab, once again, this name, copy the name, then you delete this file, or you can also move it into a folder called remove. Depends if you want to save it for now, until you're very much done. And we rename this file, paste over it, the name, and click enter. Perfect. Now this one is completed, so I'm gonna move it into the done folder. Paste. Perfect. Now that animation is also done. I'm gonna move this, cut it. There we go. We're already like on 3 left, right? So, the main thing, once again, to mention is the frames need to match the original one that you're trying to replace. The file that you want to replace the original one with needs to have the same amount of frames as the original one that you want to switch out. So, for the decay animation, we drag and drop it, and it has 961 frames once again. So, again, now for the decay animation of the Chronicles one, we drag and drop it, it has 481 frames. Okay, now, perfect case scenario, this one is very easy. You just need to multiply all of the frames, right? From 481, if you multiply it by 2, you get 962 frames. Now, you basically you just double click, for example, so those buttons appear at the very top, and you see here we have select/deselect all button. So what you do is you just click this button once, it deselects, then you click it once again, now it has selected all of the frames. Then you duplicate all the frames. This is the perfect case scenario and most easiest. You click the duplicate frames. Here it is. Now you scroll all the way down. Now it has 962 frames. You can just click the last frame, and here there's a button remove frames. You just click this one. And bam, now we're ready. We have 961 frames. Now, you just, again, click down SLD button, and we wait once again, all this time. And it has started. And we just wait once again. Okay, it's done. Now again, it pops up. You just click save into the downloads folder. Okay. We go to the downloads folder. You cut it. You move it to the original now. Heavy Cover Archer original folder. You paste it. Right. There we go. Now you grab once again. We have the decay animation. The new decay animation is over here. And you rename this one. You copy, wait, my bad. You rename this one. Then you copy its name. Next, you delete this file. Rename this one and paste the name over it. Bam. It's ready. Now we cut it and move it into the done folder. Perfect. It's ready. Now here it appears that we have 3 graphics. Now, easiest way to check if we actually need to make 3 and not 2 is we have idle A and idle B, 2 idle animations. So let's check now if we actually need to create 2 files for the idle animation. Actually, first, if you want, if there are 2 idle animations, here this one is already done. We move it into the remove folder. Okay, perfect. Here we have 1 idle animation. We can't replace 2, so we'll just duplicate this one. Now, let's check how many frames the idle A animation has. It has 961 frames. Let's check the idle B, how many frames it has. It has 961 frames, okay. And let's check now the Chronicles version, how many frames it has. It has 721 frames. We do the same thing as we did with the attack animation. So you have 3 columns. You go up. You go to the very top. And you start selecting from frame 2 in the middle column all the way down. Okay, now we're done. So we have selected them. Then you click duplicate frames, the button over here. We wait. Now you still check how many frames in total it has. Okay, 961, there we go. So, here, if you have messed up for some reason in the selection or just math doesn't math, you again just drag and drop once again like the file and you start over. You try again. Now, once we are done with this, we have it ready. We click the down SLD button over here. Just click it and once again, we wait. Okay, now that it's ready, here again, you click save into the downloads folder. You go to the downloads folder, you right click, cut it, you move it into the original Cavalry Archer folder. Here, you paste it. You can switch now both of the files. You first duplicate this file actually. You copy it, you paste it. Here we create a copy of it, the new file. You know, get this name. Okay. Rename, copy. Then you delete this file. Now on the first one, you rename and then you paste. Enter. Now you can cut this file. And you copy and paste it into done. Next. The B one, same thing. You copy the name. You delete the file. You rename this one. And you paste the name. Cavalry Archer aoeIIde B. Now you cut this file and you paste it into done. Perfect. Now we have only one file left for the unit. The walking animation. Okay, you drag and drop it. Okay. Let's see, it has 961 frames once again. We go back to the Chronicles one. This idle animation, we can now move into the remove. There we go. And let's check this walking animation. How many frames does it have? 481. Well, you select all of them. Again, you just click until you have the buttons. Select, deselect, again. The button, you click it twice. Everything is glowing. You've selected everything. You click duplicate frames. Man. Okay, now you scroll down all the way. Here we have 962 frames. You click the last one. You remove this frame. Click the button, remove frames. There we go. Now we have again the number that we need exactly. So now you again click this down SLD button over here. You just click it and wait. Oh, I'm back. Okay, once it's finally ready to be downloaded, again into the downloads folder, click save. Go into the folder. Wait. Go into the downloads folder. Cut it. Paste it into the Heavy Cavalry Archer original folder. Now here, again, take the name, replace it, rename, copy the name, then delete this file, the original file, the Walkai A. Okay, then rename and paste the name here, enter. Finally done. You cut the file and place it into done. Now the Heavy Cavalry Archer is done with the graphics. Oh my, finally. Now, once we're ready, actually, I'm gonna put this under. There we go. Here we can just cut this now. Paste it into remove. Okay, I will close this folder now, the Chronicles one. Now we open the Heavy Cavalry Archer reskin mod. We go into the resources, underline common, DRS, graphics, and here we grab all of the graphics files, cut, or copy, whichever one you want. Actually, I'll copy it, and then paste it. Perfect. Now the mod is finally ready. We can actually already switch the Heavy Cavalry Archer, the original one, with the Chronicles version. This mod is ready. Now, for the Dark Age Mill reskin, now building wise. Okay? We close this. Now that the mod is ready, we can also just remove the Heavy Cavalry Archer original, those graphics that were temporary. We can just delete them. Delete since we don't need them anymore. Now, what's left is Dark Age Mill original and the Roman Stone Age Granary. Now, for the buildings, usually you'll be just fine replacing all three files, right? Thankfully, for the buildings, it's not that hard to switch them. The only issue comes when the building has an animation, just like the mill, right? If you search up right now on Age of Empires, the modding, currently at this time, there is no reskin mod for the mill because no one has figured out a way to change graphics with animations. Thankfully, with this tool, we can do that because we can just duplicate the frames. Now, I'll show you what I mean by this. So, As was shown previously in the segment with the comparison that if you just switch out the files, it doesn't work, right? I'll show you now why that happens. So you open the Dark Age Mill original again to the side, and you open the Roman Stone Age Granary here. Perfect. Now you open, come back to this SLD extractor. There we go. And let's check. First, we'll do the destruction one. Actually, I'll create just a folder here. Done. Perfect. Now, let's check the destruction graphic. Right? This is for the Dark Age Mill original. We see that it has 100 frames. Well, okay, good. Now let's check the Roman Stone Age Granary. Okay, drag and drop it. 60 frames. Well, here we see again that we can just duplicate the frames. Now, the only difference here between the units and the buildings is that for the buildings, if there are not enough frames to duplicate, it is best to duplicate the very last frame. Now, why that could be? It's because every single building that you see will have, and will be very visible actually, if you duplicate all the frames, like for example how we did with the units, like through 1 through 2. The issue is that the animation will start looking very choppy and at lower FPS than everything else. It will seem like your game is lagging, which is not very pleasant to look at. Now, if you duplicate the very last frame, it will just extend the animation so it doesn't disappear. Now, if it's the other way around, you can still remove frames just like from the units, from in between every single animation or through some frames. It may make the animation look faster, but it would still look good. No, it will be a little bit faster, for example, the destruction of the building, but it will fit into the frames and it won't start chopping or something. Now, we just duplicate the last here frame, only the last one, 40 times until we see 100 frames that appear. Now we have 60 here. We just need to duplicate it 40 times. So you click it, you duplicate frames. You wait. Now you click, duplicate frames. Now again, speed it up. Oh, also just one thing. There seems to be some kind of a bug with the program that if you start selecting the new duplicated frames, that it may bug out or it may not copy correctly. I don't know the reason why. So that's why I do it with the original frame itself. Right, this is the only caveat on why you see me only duplicate through this frame and not start selecting all the others, because that would be faster. But again, I've had bug happen to it because I've done it multiple times and I just don't want to deal with it. So you copy the last frame, the last original frame. You continue duplicating it now. Okay, now it should be ready. Let's check. And there we go. The last frame is 100. Now, again, we have the same number of frames as the original animation, so we click the down SLD button. We click it and we wait once again. This should happen faster because thankfully it's only 100 frames. Not like the units. Okay, now once it's ready, you save it. Go to the downloads folder. You cut this, the download it now file. You go to the original files, paste it. There we go. Now you again just replace the file. Rename, copy the name, delete the file. Now you select it, you click rename, paste it, click away from it, there we go. Now this one is done, so you cut it and you move it into the folder done. Perfect. Next one is the rubble graphic. With this one, usually, since it's static, it will have one frame. Now, just check still in case, so you can just switch them out. Look, it has one frame. Now we go back. And the Stone Age Granary rubble, let's see, has also one frame. Perfect, so we can just switch them up. Remove. I'll just create the folder, move this file now. Cut. Paste it into the remove. There we go. Now, we copy the rubble graphic. We go to the original folder. Paste it. Now, copy the name of the original. Delete it. Rename the one that we pasted. Now paste the name. There we go. This graphic is now done. Cut it and move it into the done folder. The very last file remains. Okay, let me just move this into the remove. There we go. Now the very last file remains, which is the main look of the building. Now, when we check, usually every single building should have one frame as well. So you can just copy and paste it, right? So the exception is why I picked the mill is that it has an animation. That means that it has multiple frames. You drag and drop it and we check, oh, it has 181 frames. So we go into the Roman Stone Age granary, and when we drag and drop it, we see, oh, it has only one frame. Now that means that if I was to place it, I mean, you saw in the beginning when you just copy and paste, it just disappears. You cannot even select the mill because it has no graphic. So we need to duplicate it 180 times so it reaches the 181 frames. Now you select it, you click duplicate frames. Now here you can allow yourself to do for faster, since it's just one frame, one of the original frames. You click duplicate frame. Now you click select deselect all. You again click duplicate frames. It has 4. Select deselect all, duplicate frames. Okay, select deselect all, duplicate frames once again. We can see it's 16. Once again. Duplicate frames, select all, duplicate frames. Select all, duplicate the frames. Let's check real quick how many frames that is. Now it's 128 frames. Now, if we duplicate it, it will go above. So, deselect all of them, right? Just make sure that everything is deselected. Now, you start duplicating the first original frame. Once again, you duplicate frame until you reach 181. You see, here comes the issue. I selected this one, but it did not select it. So, I would rather just click deselect all. Make sure that everything is deselected. So you cannot select the duplicated ones for some reason. I don't know the bug cause. So you just need to duplicate one by one frame. Okay, now this should be done. There we go, 181 frames. Okay, and now, since it is the same as the original one, we just click the down SLD button over here. And we wait. This may take a bit longer because the graphic is bigger on size. So, yeah, processing time is more. Okay, now that it's ready to be downloaded, click save. Go to the downloads folder, cut it. Then go to the Dark Age Mill original folder, paste it. And rename the original file, copy. Then delete the original file. Rename this new one. Paste it. Paste its name. Click enter. And put it into the done folder. Copy and paste it here. Now we're done with the Dark Age Mill original. So, the only thing left is to create the mod for it. Close this. We won't need the tool anymore. Go here. Okay, close this. Now we're going into the Dark Age Mill reskin mod. Now, you can basically copy the same structure from the Heavy Cavalry Archer reskin mod. Now I'll create it once more. Open the game folder. Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. There we go. So we start by going to Resources, create the folder Resources. Enter, you open it. Okay, underline Common, you create a new folder, underline Common. Go inside it. Okay. Create new folder, DRS. Here, this folder, DRS. Okay. DRS, then graphics. Create the folder graphics. And here, we can paste the done graphics, okay, copy, and then paste them over here. It's basically completed, but one thing is missing, that info.json file. So we can add it by creating a new document. Here it's like this. You can just use on Windows the create text file. Okay, and we write info.json. There we go. You now copy the text in the description. You open this. There. And now you write author, your name. Then you write the title of the mod. This one is the Dark Age Mill Reskin mod. So you write Dark Age Mill Reskin. And the description, this mod replaces the Dark Age Mill with the Roman Stone Age Granary. There we go. Perfect. You save this. You save this file, and you can close it. And basically, the two mods are now completed. Wait, first, let me just make sure that I've copied the files, so I know I'm able to delete them. Okay, perfect. They're already copied. Now we can delete these two folders because we don't need the files anymore. And now what's left with these two mods is to place them in the folder of the game, so when you open the game, it can find those two mods. So you go to your game folder. I will put both paths on the screen so you know where to go. Now I'm gonna search it up. Mine. Now, because I'm playing on Linux and I'm playing the game through Proton, that means that I need to go to the Steam library. Okay. I go to the Steam library, Steam apps, and I go to compat data. Now, I remember that the game is with ID 813780. So you go inside of here, you click PFX, then DOS devices, then C, okay? C, then you go on users, Steam user, games, there we go. Games Age of Empires 2 DE. Then your Steam ID, okay? And here you'll see a folder called mods. You double click it, and here you'll find local, subscribed, and mod status. Now, it will be the same for Windows. You'll find these three folders. Now, if you don't see local folder, still create it. Don't worry, it will work. Inside of this folder. Now you go into local, and here are three of the mods that I use personally myself. Now, I have a buildings reskin. I have UI reskin. I have also units reskin. I've separated them for my convenience. Now, in order to place your mods that you just created, you copy those mods and you paste them over here. Copy and paste them, then copy and paste them here. At first, you may need to 2 times start the game and close it so you can restart the mods. But after that, they should work. I'll test it out now in real time to see how it is. So you also see how it looks like. There we go. Now we go into the mods menu. And when you click Dark Age Mill Reskin, right? To show you how both mods will look, I'm going to disable all of the mods, right? Then go back and restart my game. Now we'll start the game with no mods enabled, and I'll show you how everything looks. And I'll show you how the Dark Age Mill looks, and also how the Cavalry Archer will look, the Heavy Cavalry Archer. Now, to test it out, we can go to Skirmish. I'll click the Roman civilization. It doesn't matter really what civilization you're gonna pick, as long as it has those Cavalry Archers. Now, when you click Technology Tree, you can see how the icon here looks, right? This is the normal Heavy Cavalry Archer. And now, for the tutorials, I will pick AI difficulty easiest and resources to be infinite. Okay? There we go. And start the game. This is usually how you test your things. If you want for easier testing, you can just basically make saves on different stages. For example, have all of the buildings built and also all of the units. already set. So you can easily preview without having to do what I'm gonna do now to test it. Now first, you go and you build one mill. This is how the Dark Age mill will look. Now, I'm gonna do ages, so we don't have to wait. This is the cheat to have everything be instant. An instant unit creation. Now, here's how the Dark Age mill looks. Now, I'm gonna save this as Dark Age mill. Save it. Here's the Dark Age mill. Now, I'm gonna reach Imperial Age and get Heavy Cavalry Archer. I go to Imperial Age. And now we get a Heavy Cavalry Archer. There we go. And here's the Cavalry Archer. Now to test it. Here it is. Now, here is how it will look in all different directions. And if we go ahead and attack them... Oh. Okay, let's try and see the attacking animation. See? And now let's see death animation. There we go. We see the death animation. Everything is fine, right? From the original one. Now that it is done, I forgot to save it, right? Okay, let's still save it here. And we save it as Heavy Cavalry Archer. Save it. Okay. Then we will load it and we will create a new Heavy Cavalry Archer and test out again the animations. Now to quit the game and enable the mods. Here, Dark Age Mill reskin will activate it, and then we'll activate the Heavy Cavalry Archer reskin. And Dark Age Mill reskin, you see author is Marcus Tunimus, tags graphic. Actually, we did not add graphics, but it already detects it. And this mod replaces the Dark Age Mill with the Roman Stone Age Granary. And if you click on the Heavy Cavalry Archer, you see Heavy Cavalry Archer reskin, author is you, for example, in this case if you make your own. Tags are graphic and user interface. User interface is also included because we changed the icon. Now this mod replaces the Heavy Cavalry Archer with the Chronicles version of the Heavy Cavalry Archer. Now we need to restart the game. Okay, there we go. We check if we have the mods enabled. There we go, we have the mods enabled. Now we go to load game. And let's load the Dark Age Mill. Load game. And here it is. We have the Roman Stone Age Granary replaced on top of the Dark Age Mill. There we go. And if we delete it, if we destroy it, there we go. We see the animation. Everything stays perfect. And the graphic now rubble appears. Everything is perfect. So the Dark Age mill reskin is perfectly done. And now let's go and load the Heavy Cavalry Archer. Load game. Now let's create it. First we go to the technology tree to see. Oh. Here's the little mistake I did. You see, I accidentally switched the graphic of the unit with the Cavalry Archer itself, not the Heavy Cavalry Archer. Let's go ahead and fix that. We go to Widget UI, Textures, In-Game, and Units. Here, let's open Photopia once again. So the original Heavy Cavalry Archer is actually 071 as a number. I apologize for the mistake. Now, here, if we drag and drop, we go to the units and we search up 071. Here it is. And when we drag and drop it, here, this is the Heavy Cavalry Archer icon. Okay? Into the mods local folder where you place the Heavy Cavalry Archer reskin. Go into the Widget UI Textures in-game units. Okay, 071. 071. And now when we start the game, it should work perfectly fine. And it should have switched the graphic for the heavy cavalry archer instead of the cavalry archer. Okay, now that we're in the game, we check. We have the Dark Age Mill reskin and the Heavy Cavalry Archer reskin. Now to check it real quick, I'll go to Skirmish and check the technology tree, and there we go. We have exactly changed the Heavy Cavalry Archer icon with the Chronicles one. Okay, and it should appear when we select the unit. Now we go to load game and we load the Heavy Cavalry Archer save file. We load it. Okay. And we get one more out. There we go. It appears here as well. We click it. And there we go. Here it appears. And we have the Heavy Cavalry Archer. There we go how it looks. All of the animations are perfect now. It doesn't disappear like before or anything. We have the walking animation all good. Now let's try the attack animation. We try. Oh, the attack animation is perfectly fine. Let's try and attack from different angles. Everything is perfectly fine, right? There we go. Now, let's check the death animation. If everything is correct, and the DK one as well. Perfect. Oh, there we go. Everything is correct. And this means we successfully changed the graphics of the Heavy Cavalry Archer to whichever other unit we want. Of course, you could be either smart or goofy about it. You can even change it if you want with, I don't know, a knight, and have the knight for some reason shoot arrows while he swings the sword. It doesn't matter, you can go goofy about it, like, you're free to do whatever you want now. And yeah, hope you enjoyed, hope it was helpful to you, and take care everyone. Ave.